lot of increment for the city, both in property taxes, sales taxes, hotel motel tax, utility taxes.
Big deal. The latest projects coming to the downtown area of Moline and how much they will cost the city. And as Food Truck Tuesday continues to attract Davenport residents, what owners had to go through yesterday to ensure customer safety.
Live from WQAD, this is News 8's Good Morning Quad Cities.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Wednesday, September 14th. I'm Jonathan Katz. I'm getting used to seeing you right next to me.
I know. When Julie comes back next week, I know there's not going to be room for me.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Okay, I'm not. 6 o'clock right now. I do want to talk about, and you're going to have more on this coming up in the effects of Tropical Storm Julia. Right here. It's centered just near Jacksonville, Florida. It's going to move to the north. Not expected to become a hurricane or anything like that, but the impact for that area is coming up in just a few minutes. All right, back here closer to home, here's the storm tracker and a couple of sprinkles left over into parts of Mercer County. That should be about it this morning. Temperatures right now into the middle 60s. We're not going to see these rise much today because we'll start with clouds. Eventually seeing a little bit more in the way of sunshine this afternoon. That will get us into the mid to high 70s. So comfy, a little gray this morning, but have no fear, the sun will come out later on for today. We're timing out some rain chances for Friday, not an all-day washout. More on that in just a bit.
All right, Eric, thank you. New this morning right here on Good Morning Quad Cities, a 6.0 earthquake has hit the second largest city in Colombia. Officials in Medellin say currently they are evacuating buildings and that mudslides are impacting the area. Residents there say they only felt the quake for about 30 seconds and are now feeling strong aftershocks. No word on any damage or if anyone was hurt. Well, Tropical Storm Julia has formed along the northeast coast of Florida, as Eric said. The National Hurricane Center says the slow-moving storm expected to bring heavy rain and possible flash flooding. Tropical storm warning is in effect for not only Florida, but for Georgia as well. Experts say the storm is expected to weaken to a tropical depression by tomorrow night. Closer to home, road construction continues to be a headache for drivers in Moline. And along John Deere Road, that work is far from done. But there is a change that drivers can expect starting today. Hope they can look forward to it as well. News 8's Jared Ransom joining us now live in Moline with more on how far along crews are in construction right now. Jared.
Yeah, John, good morning. Road construction seems to be a fact of life here around the Quad Cities, especially during the summer months. And I'll step out of the way so you see what work is being done right now along John Deere Road and 41st Street. This intersection here has been a kind of a headache for everybody this summer, but there is progress to report along 41st Street. The project is moving along, and a lane change is coming today. The northbound lanes on 41st Street are all paved and ready to go, so starting today, traffic is going to be switching over to those lanes. Now, all of 41st Street still be one lane going both directions, but drivers will be able to use the newly formed turn lanes, which should ease a little bit of the congestion at this John Deere Road intersection. Now, the switch was actually supposed to happen yesterday, but it was delayed by a day because of rainy weather last week that pushed work back later than expected. But saying that, project leaders with McCarthy Improvement say everything on 41st Street is still on schedule. They also have an update on John Deere Road as a whole. The project is moving along just fine, and there'll be just a few more lane closures, not many, for the rest of the construction season. They're going to be putting on some traffic lights, some of these major intersections, and wrapping up construction the next few months and planning ahead for next year's work at widening the lanes in John Deere Road. John, back to you.
All right, sounds good, Jared. Thank you. Work along Cold Town Road is still moving along. Project leaders expect to switch the traffic lanes starting at the end of this month to begin their work on the southbound lanes. If you plan on using the Arsenal Bridge this morning, you will need to find another route. The bridge currently closed to cars, pedestrians, bicycles, boats, and trains. Workers are making repairs on the railroad that runs over the bridge. It'll be back open at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Rock Island Parks and Recreation Department is getting a little bit of help after asking for the public's help with funding last month. Currently, the Parks Department doesn't have the $400,000 to keep up with dozens of parks in the city. Now, a nonprofit group has been formed to help them raise money. Members say the department needs it, and the group's job is to find money. The nonprofit group will write grants and hold fundraisers with the money going towards scholarships, projects, and programs.
we want to ensure that those parks are there for the next generation and 100 years to come. So our purpose is really to help raise funds and bring awareness to our parks and recreation and to sort of help fill that gap for Rock Island.
The group is called the Rock Island Parks and Recreation Foundation. They've already thrown one fundraiser, raising more than $4,000, and they plan to hold even more in the future. Moline leaders have approved a development agreement for a multi-million-dollar hotel and restaurant project. Developers want to transform the vacant Fifth Avenue building, which is right next to the former La Flama restaurant. Plans include a high-end hotel and even a rooftop bar. The $18 million project will receive tax credits. City leaders say this new development will create several jobs and draw in more crowds and business to the downtown area.
It generates a lot of increment for the city, both in property taxes, sales taxes, hotel motel tax, utility taxes, so it's a great project.
Also approved a development agreement to transform the upper floors of the Chase building into apartments. Existing commercial spaces will stay on the basement and first floor, while 31 market rate apartments are added to the top floors. The project is expected to cost just more than $8 million. Bettendorf police are continuing to investigate after a man reportedly tried to get a little girl into his truck. Incident happened Monday night on Wakanda Drive. Police say the 12-year-old was walking on the sidewalk when a man between the ages of 50 to 55 years old pulled up in a purple or plum-colored Ford pickup truck, opened the passenger side door and said, "Get in." The young girl was able to get away, but if you have any information, you are asked to call Bettendorf police. Well, the search for a missing woman from Ladd, Illinois continues this morning as 62-year-old Deborah Dewey went missing on August 22nd in Spring Valley, Illinois. The Illinois State Police have been searching a few miles south of Spring Valley in a home at 5th Street and Illinois Route 71 in Standard, Illinois, southeast of Princeton. Police say they are looking for evidence in Dewey's disappearance. Crime scene investigators surrounded the property yesterday as they walked around the yard and searched a garage, shed, and more. Standard residents say they are hoping something comes from their investigation.
Just surprised. I hope it turns out better than we think, but we got to see what happens.
I have prayers for the whole community too, because they also are going to be affected, because this was, if she's found here, this is what was done in the small community.
Investigators have not said what brought them to the home in Standard, Illinois, or how it's connected to Dewey. Well, food trucks have hit the streets of downtown Davenport now for the second week of Food Truck Tuesdays. But before they could start serving, they had to go through extensive health and safety inspections. All food trucks are required to pass the same inspection as restaurants are. All the one stations at the corner of East 2nd and Iowa Street passed with flying colors yesterday. Owners of the Flavor Train say keeping everything up is to par is their top priority, and food truck fans appreciate their efforts.
They do all their research and the certifications and everything, so I see no worries about it.
They have the same standards as a restaurant, and the food is safe, and typically you get some really delicious food from the food truck vendors.
Well, Scott County Health Department says that food trucks have to renew their permits every year and pass another inspection to operate again. Healthy habits are now being taught at schools on both sides of the river. It's part of a $350,000 federally funded program that gives children healthy snacks twice a week at school. The goal is to teach children at a young age healthy eating habits that they can carry with them in the future. The experiment appears to be working, as some kids actually admitted that they like eating broccoli better than cookies. All right, well, tomorrow you could help send off or welcome back local veterans for the 37th Honor Flight. 95 Vietnam vets will be traveling to Washington, D.C. to visit monuments dedicated to their service and sacrifice. This flight will be the first to carry all Vietnam veterans as well. Before the flight, there will be a dinner for veterans, guests, and their guardians at the Hy-Vee off East Kimberly Road that begins at 4 this afternoon. Still to come. Right here on Good Morning Quad Cities, the reward up for grabs for anyone to try and solve the growing problem of drug-resistant bacteria. Plus, starting out, the program that kicks off today that connects area children to agriculture.
Temperatures will be going back into the 70s for today, so very comfortable, not completely dry. I'll show you where there is a shower in progress now and when the more widespread rain comes back. We're leading the way with accurate weather coverage for you next in 2 minutes.
You're watching Good Morning Quad Cities on WQAD News 8 with Jonathan Katz and Julie Sisk.